welcome back to week 3 of astronomy. By now, many of you are settled in, you sort of understand the requirements of the course. You're doing quite well, and that's great. Some of you have repeatedly emailed me with questions, and that's perfectly fine. The biggest question I've gotten this week is about the Lunar Observation Project, because apparently it's been raining quite a bit down in the Keys. We've not got much up here in Avon Park, so that's fine. If you've started your project, continue. Just mark down what you can for that day. If you went out and observed, you just say it was too cloudy to see, but maybe you can tell where the moon was in the sky, and that would be helpful. So you can still, and you can record the tidal information, and you can look up the phase, look it on an astronomical calendar or something, so you can actually know what phase it was, even if you didn't physically see it that night. That will help you in your overall project. Okay? So this week, we're moving forward. We're doing 2 chapters, Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. Okay, you get a little break next week. We'll drop down to only one chapter, because I know you have to start thinking more about the exam. So this is Chapter 3 is called Cycles of the Sun and Moon. So you'll understand, the revolution and the rotation of those. And then Origins of Modern Astronomy. They'll go back and talk historically of the major figures, and there's only about a half a dozen or so. So you really should be a little conversant on each one of them, have some idea of what their major contributions, and the book lays it out very well. Okay, so there's Active Exploration number 2, which I've linked up for with each of these chapters, maybe 10 or so things that can help you crystallize it and maybe bring it more to life. There are the videos. They should be embedded right in the course, for each. There's about 27 or 28 minutes each. There's one for Chapter 3 and there's one for Chapter 4. That should help in your understanding. I would recommend you read the book before you watch the video, but it is up to you. You might want to take a few notes when you watch the video, or pause it, write something down if something sparks your mind. That's kind of important. There are PowerPoints for Chapter 3 and 4. If you like to learn it that way or see what they've summarized, those come from the publisher. And now, question of the week number 2. Okay. Now, to get full credit, you need to post your response, but then you need to reply to 2 students, the one right before you and the posting right after yours. Give a sentence or 2, not just "I agree with you" or "Hey, great posting," but say why you think it was a great posting. Okay. I'm not asking a lot, but just more than just a couple words. So to get full credit, you need to do your post and 2 replies. If you do less, you'll get less points. And they do add up towards the end, so I leave that up to you. There is a quiz this week, as always, quiz number 2. Again, there are 5 questions. They come from both of those chapters. You can take it as many times as you want. Only your highest score counts. So don't hesitate to take it maybe a half a dozen times or more. Some students just use it as a review to help them hit the higher points. Or things they might have missed. All right. The exam is not next week, but the following week. So, don't forget your STAR project. You should have figured out your STAR and maybe sort of setting up how you're going to do it. Whether you're going to, write a paper or do something a little more interesting and creative, which would be a PowerPoint, a video, MP3, whatever works for you. There's no specified format, but there are some specific questions I want you to answer, and those should be outlined. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look for it. If not, let me know. In your Lunar Observation Project, and I've spoken to that already, but you really should have started on that or very soon now. Be sure you know where you're going to get your information. Try to have it in advance. And don't forget the Exam Review Wiki. I know many of you gotten on there. You just need to go and say sign up, and you just put in your username and make up a password, and you can go post in there. Okay. If you're having any trouble, and a few of you have, email me, and I've tried to respond to those to help you out. So that is for you. It's for your review. I'll give you a few points for participation, but they all add up in the end, But for you actively being involved with that, collaboratively working with each other in the class to develop something that could be useful for studying for the exam. So enough of that. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you again next week. Goodbye.